This one will be a fairly lengthy tutorial on what to do with an image. There's a number of things you can do. You can still etch and cut an image, but I just want to show you the basics first, and then we'll get into the more difficult stuff. So there's no point me really creating a whole new one. So a whole new file. I'm just going to delete the work that I've done previously. Then what I have to do is I have to open up an image. So if you've already gone to the internet and found an image, it's best that you don't double click on it or anything like that. Just open it. So what I'm going to do is the school logo. So I've got it here in my admin stuff. Is I have a school logo, which is this one, and I'm going to open that up. Now here is the school logo, and the size of it is 105 by 105. Let's make that a simple one. We'll make that 100 by 100. And you'll see that this is a PNG. It says that it's a PNG up there. So it could be a PNG, it could be a JPEG, it could be a GIF or anything like that. Now if I was to just simply print this, it would print it, but it's not all that great. And you can't print unless it's in AI, and it doesn't really do much of a really good job with things like this. All it will do is just burn it straight across, and you may want that. That's fine. It will come up like that. It'll work really great. But what I like to do is I like to first of all copy it. So I press Control C and put it into where it's going to the bed one, so that I can actually see what it's going to look like. And I also make sure it's in RGB. So that quite possibly could be in CMYK, the colouring format, but I know that now it's going to be in an RGB file, so I can recognise it. Now, if I just press print, that will just print, and I like to put mine up in the top left-hand corner, because that's where I'm just accustomed to putting pieces of wood in the laser cutter and then pressing print. So let's do that. Control P, and it's all set up for me. You can see that that's where it's located. If I press print, and at the moment I'm not too worried about what sort of material it's going to be printed on, and if I go into the software, you'll see instantly that this is what it's going to look like when it's printed out. Now you can set it up to say that you don't really want too much cross etching, but that's how it would come up if I just press print on the timber. And you can see that that is red and blue, and this is what happens when something is converted as an image into black. All well and good, but I've done a few other things in the past where I actually make it look really great. So what we can do is, if we do an image trace of this, we actually convert it from a bitmap into a vector graphic. So the image trace over here, and when you click image trace, you can choose all these different types of image traces, and I've played around with all different ones. I'll just show you what I mean. If I press black and white logo, it goes into a transformation, and you can see, oh, that didn't work very good, so I wouldn't do that one. Maybe I might do high fidelity, a high fidelity photo, and this is how it comes up. Now you can see that it's not exactly perfect, and we're not after perfection as such, because the laser cutter will cut it reasonable. And I've tried around with all different ones. For example, I've done technical drawing, so you can see that doesn't quite work. Shades of grey, you can see that it comes up like that. It's because it's a JPEG and it's converting it into a vector graphic. So we'll go back to this one and press expand and ungroup it all. I can do a number of things with it. For example, if I don't like the background, I think I might take a big risk and press delete. I can get rid of the box in the background so it doesn't print, and I can go along and choose all different areas of it. Let's zoom in a bit. So we go, oh my god, where did it go? It didn't go far, it's just over on the edge here. Come back here, go back up. Oh, it's going to look horrible, but you can see that there's all different paths and things like that. So I might just undo that and go back. Right back to the start. Alright, this is our image. You see it's pixelated, so it's going to be problematic. But if you do the image trace, and let's say you do 16 colors, you're going to lose a bit of the image. So make sure that you do like a high fidelity one or something like that. And you have to do it one at a time. So I'll go back and do the image trace at the high fidelity, and there it is there. We've got a rough idea of what that says. And then you expand it and you get all these like lines, so you can delete those parts. Whoop, I lost a whole lot then. You can delete those parts to get it. What I was actually trying to do is see how you can select things like this. You can actually change the stroke to the color that you want. So if you want, for example, red, 0 to 0. Right, we've got pure red there now, and we can do like a stroke of 001, and you can see that 001. You can see that the red then comes up like that. But if you did that blue, like that, then you have all these little intricate lines that are blue, so to really engrave those really well. You know, you can do individual things. For example, if you wanted to do like the bird's wings or the bird's head, and you wanted to change the color of that, you could make it red if you wanted to, and it would cut it out. Then what you'd have to do is then print that, or I would strongly recommend saving that as a PDF. So we call this one tutorial 3 as a PDF, and save that. And then what would then happen is we would go into Adobe Acrobat Reader, open this up, and we've got this image here, and then we'd print from here. So Control P, choose the properties, press print, and then it would end up here. So that's what that one's going to look like. That's the blue lines. Now don't think of those as selection lines. That's what it's going to look like when it's printed. It will look quite fantastic when it's done. Yeah, so that's the way that you would do that. And just remember that you can set all this up before you actually go to the printer. You don't have to have the laser cutter connected in order for you to be able to do that. So that's how you would change an image, that where you started from, so an image like that, to be able to be laser cut. But in saying that, you can also have one like that printed. Let me just demonstrate that. So this is the laser that I want to print. Sorry, this is the image that I want to print. I'll go to this and I'll press print. It's going to send it to that printer, and this is what happens when you print that. So that's what happens there. Now I can move that if I want to, like I can put it into the corner, or let's say you have a pencil box where you're not sure where you want it to be located. You can move this around to wherever you want, so that you can get it lined up on the pencil box or the piece of wood that you have, and then you can then go ahead and hook it up to the laser cutter and then print it. So that's how you do images, and how you change them around with the image trace button so that they become, you know, outside. Probably the logo is not the best example of using it. I could choose another one and do some really great things with the outlines if it was a proper image trace, because you can put these in and then cut them out in pine or cut them out on the ply, and it looks really good. But I just wanted to show you that as an example of how to actually laser cut an image.